Access Live event is currently in music hold and will start momentarily. If you would like to ask a question during the event, press
1.
Welcome to the quarterly Battle Creek VA Medical Center Veteran Tele Town Hall. I am Brian Pegowski, Chief of Communication and Community Engagement, and I will be moderating the call today. Since it is the last day of September, it is the end of the fiscal year. We want to bring you the highlights of the year today. Throughout the call, we will present information from our executive leadership team. At the end of the presentation, you will be able to ask questions by hitting *3 to be placed in the queue. We will be able to address general questions today about the presentation and other general questions. Again, you can enter the queue by hitting *3. More specific questions will be referred to our patient advocate team or the department that they belong to after the call. Now I want to introduce our Executive Medical Center Director, Ms. Michelle Martin.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brian, and welcome everyone to our quarterly Veteran Town Hall. Excited to be here this morning and share lots of great information with you. So we'll just kick it off with really a year in review. So this last year, we've served nearly 45,000 veterans in our 21 and a half counties that we serve veterans in. Our healthcare system, through our medical center in Battle Creek and our VA clinics in the communities, we employ just under 2,000 employees, about 1,986. In our annual operating budget, which includes both operations and what we spend in purchasing care in the community for veterans who are referred for that type of care, is about $676 million. So lots of money going into the communities that we serve, and employing our employees to serve veterans for the direct care as well. And just wanted to also touch base regarding our tactical plan. So we've really invested a lot of resources and time in strategic planning for Battle Creek. And over the past fiscal year, we developed 21 goals that really were in 6 or 7 buckets involving internal perspective, so looking at things internally, looking at the customer perspective. Of course, with such a big budget, looking at the financial perspective, we want to be good stewards of those fiscal resources that we're entrusted with. We've also looked at learning and innovation. We are in healthcare. Learning and being innovative is really important. Also looking at operational efficiencies and fiscal year 23 plans and objectives that rolled over into the next fiscal year. And then we work really closely with our market partners in the Lower Peninsula of Michigan, so we've got market plans as well. So really kind of falling again into those 7 buckets, 21 goals, we developed 65 objectives, which is quite a lot. And when we did our last update, as we ended, I think, August, we were just under 60% completed. So we had a robust tactical plan with lots of goals and objectives really to improve the care, treatment, and services that we provide here at Battle Creek and throughout the Michigan market. We're going to do the same exact thing this year. We just recently held our strategic planning summit, and we'll be looking at how we develop those goals and objectives for the new fiscal year. We really take into account, again, a lot of information as we look at long-range goals or strategic planning over the 4-year fiscal period from fiscal year 25 into 29. And really, we kind of fall into those 4 of those 7 categories. So our internal perspective, our customer perspective, our financial perspective, and our learning and innovation perspective. We have inputs from a lot of different ways to help inform what those goals will be. from service level strategic plans, so big services that we have here in our healthcare system. We've also completed staff and veterans focus groups, again, to help inform those goals and objectives. And we also do an annual all-employee survey, which gives us some customer and internal perspective as well. And then we do quite a bit of quantitative analysis, looking at data, with different things to, again, inform our goals. And finally, we also do market assessments, which are underway, and we look at those external inputs about what growth is going to look like from the veteran population and what needs are going to need to be met over the course of those 4 years. So we really want to be the provider of choice and provide the very best health care to our nation's heroes, which really kind of takes me to really launching our local Battle Creek mission and vision. So really in support of not just the VA plans and the VA mission and the VHA and our Vision 10 in our market, but really to hone down what we think our mission and vision is as a healthcare system here at Battle Creek. And so our mission is to provide high quality, veteran-centered care when and where veterans need it. And our vision is to be the provider of choice for veteran health care across our system. So we really hope that moving forward, everything that we do and all of our tactical goals will be in relations to really achieving our mission and vision in the years to come. So really happy that we've developed that local mission and vision statement for our healthcare system. I want to share, and many of you probably aware, but we'll be honoring 100 years of service here in Southwest Michigan. Battle Creek has a very rich history of caring for our nation's heroes. On October 15th at 1 p.m. at the Battle Creek campus, we'll be honoring that 100 years of service with a ceremony and a resource fair and other events that are happening on our campus that day. We're really excited to hold that event, and I think back, I wasn't alive 100 years ago. I've had the opportunity of meeting many veterans who have turned 100, and I just think and I'm a nurse, and so I think about how healthcare has changed over the 100 years, and really looking forward to honoring that and all of the veterans that we serve, and really understanding how Battle Creek and our healthcare system and our VA clinics really are going to be planning for the future for the next 100 years. Looking forward to seeing everyone that is open to the community and veterans to come out to, hoping to see everyone at our location for that ceremony and that resource fair. And I think, Brian, I'm going to turn it back over to you at this time.
All right. Thanks, Michelle.
Absolutely.
All right. And if you have any questions on any of the information Michelle has presented, you get *3 to enter the queue to ask a question. We'll be able to answer general questions at the end of the presentation today. We want to take a moment to talk about the upcoming flu vaccination clinics that are coming up, and they're starting this week at all locations. You can find out more information on our website at the Battle Creek VA Medical Center website. On our homepage, there is a story about all the upcoming drive-through and walk-in flu vaccine clinics for all the locations, including our outpatient clinics that are coming up. And also, if you have an upcoming primary care appointment, you can get your flu vaccination at your upcoming primary care appointment with your PAC team as well. The drive-through or walk-in clinics will have the standard dose flu vaccination. So if you need the high dose flu vaccine, you will need to see your PAC team in, about that. So if you're looking for the high-dose flu vaccine, you want to talk to your PAC team about that. Those are available in more limited quantities, but we do have those. So if you want the high dose, you want to talk to your PAC team about that. As well as if you want to get the COVID vaccine, which will be available also, you can get that through your PAC team as well. But if you just want the flu vaccine, we'll have that available at the drive-through and clinics. And that information, again, is available on our website. We're also sending out postcards which should be coming in the mail. So this information is readily available. We want to make it as easy as possible so you know how to get your flu vaccine. We also want to let you know about an upcoming event, which is a very popular event to celebrate our recovery trick or treat and learn more information about mental health recovery, which will actually happen on Halloween this year, so October 31st at the Battle Creek VA Medical Center. So we hope everybody can join us for that. So join us for trick or treating and learning about recovery and our recovery programs on Halloween. And now we want to turn it over to our Associate Director, Mr. Doug Dusenberry, for his updates.
Hi, good morning. I want to talk a little bit this morning about some of the construction projects that we have completed that or are nearing completion, as well as some construction projects that we are going to embark on in fiscal year 25. So as far as completed projects, we were very happy and very proud that we were able to activate and hold the grand opening of our new Muskegon Seabach. If you haven't been there, it is an absolutely stunning facility, and the turnout that we had from the community for that grand opening, it was nothing short of remarkable. The entire front lobby was, elbow to elbow, and so, to see that level of community involvement was very motivating, very inspiring, and we were all glad to see that. We also wrapped up and had our grand reopening of our remodeled urgent care in Building 2 here at the main campus. We completed some renovations to the outpatient pharmacy as well in that area. We completed upgrades to our water monitoring systems. At the VA, we're required to test our water on a regular basis to make sure that it is safe. So we upgraded a lot of those systems. Completed our renovations to our auditorium in Building 6 here on the main campus. We completed a replacement of water fountains and water bottle fill stations across the campus, as well as replaced various sidewalks, ramps, and stairs across the campus. We wrapped up projects for replacing roofs on multiple buildings. As Ms. Martin said, we are celebrating 100 years in the middle of the month, next month, and a lot of our roofs, we do it, periodically, but a lot of them were becoming aged, so completed that project, as well as waterproofing basements throughout the campus, and that was a pretty large-scale project where they would have to dig away from the foundations of these buildings, complete the waterproofing work that needed to be done, and then fill those back. Projects that are ongoing, but we're hoping to wrap up soon, is replacement of our fire alarm systems, the renovation of the inpatient mental health ward, Building 32-9 West. Ongoing, we've completed several, but we have more to go, but replacing all of our elevators in the facility, as well as our heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems. We continue with the renovation of our halls and our corridors through the campus and continue to work on improvement of signage and our wayfinding resources. Some work that you don't see every day, but our steam lines, underground steam lines, completing repairs and replacements of those as needed. And then there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes to replace the infrastructure of our IT. Switching over from analog digital to more fiber, and those are ongoing, and I believe we're expected to complete those by the end of FY25. And then some of the future projects is an expansion of our community living center, building 83 and 84, replace underground electrical distribution systems. We're also in the works of moving our audiology into building 10. That will estimate it's going to take a couple years, but we're hoping to start that this fiscal year. Renovations to building 84-1, expanding our emergency backup generator system. Then we're continuing to work on either some VA clinics in Kalamazoo, Coldwater, and Howard City. We're going to focus on the Kalamazoo area this year and look at Coldwater and Howard City probably in FY26. And then we've got plans to do a large-scale expansion in Grand Rapids with our Wyoming VA clinic up there. We're looking at a 20,000-foot expansion. That is a 4 or 5 year project, but that is definitely something that we continue in the planning and design process presently. So a lot of work going into updating and modernizing not just our campus, but our community VA clinic locations. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Doug. And if you have any questions, you can hit star 3 to enter the queue to ask a question. And next we'll go to Miss Maria Hopkins with some updates from the Chief of Staff office.
Thanks, Brian. Yes, okay. So wanted to just share some clinical updates that we've made since the last Veterans Tele Town Hall. So we at the Battle Creek VA Medical Center are excited to announce that ketamine therapy is now available through the infusion clinic on the Battle Creek campus. This therapy is used for veterans who are experiencing treatment-resistant depression, and veterans who are interested in this therapy should discuss with their mental health clinic provider if they may be a candidate for the treatment. Next slide, please. We're also excited to have launched the technology-based eye care service at the Muskegon VA Clinic in July of this year. This program increases access to eye care for veterans in the Muskegon area without requiring travel to Wyoming or Battle Creek by having a technician perform dilation, eye pressure checks, and to take pictures at the Muskegon Clinic. Images taken by the technician are then sent to a Battle Creek VA Medical Center optometrist who interprets and evaluates the veteran's eye health through those images for common eye diseases like cataracts, glaucoma, macular degeneration, and diabetic-related changes. Eyeglass prescriptions are also available if needed, and so that decreases the need or eliminates the need in most cases for veterans having to travel from the Muskegon area to the Battle Creek or Wyoming campus for eye care. And lastly, wanted to share that beginning October 7th, the Mobile PACT team, which is also known as the Northern Rural Expansion Team, has updated clinic locations and schedules. The team expanded clinic hours at the Baldwin, Hart, Ludington, and Newaygo locations to meet the increased demand in those locations, and the Hart and Morley clinic locations have been sunsetted as access in those areas have decreased. Access demands in those areas have decreased. The change in clinic hours will result in more than 550 additional appointment times for veterans at those 4 remaining sites of care. And I do apologize if you're viewing the the screen, it looks like that old schedule is up. We do have a new schedule with those 4 sites of care, and that's been sent out via United States Postal Service to veterans that are enrolled with the mobile tax team, and is also available online and in the Muskegon and Wyoming VA clinics. And that's it from the Chief of Staff's office this month. Thanks, Brian.
All right, thank you, Maria. And the new schedule for NREX is also online on the website as well, so that is out there and also on social media. So, all right. If there are any questions, you hit *3 to ask a question, and we'll start to get to some of those questions right now. And we'll go to Jim with a question from Muskegon. Jim, go ahead with your question.
My question was what additional services are planned in person at Muskegon, like podiatry, CPAP, so forth. I understand the optometry having stuff, also audiology.
All right.
I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Good. Thanks for your question, Jim. All right. I think right now, as Maria said, we did implement the text program for optometry in Muskegon. Right now, I'm not sure what other programs are planned immediately for Muskegon. Does anybody on the call know if we have any other implementations planned for any other specialties at the moment?
Hi, Brian. This is Michelle. I know Dr. Shaw isn't here today.
Okay.
Part of our fiscal year 24 tactical plan included a goal and objectives related to increasing specialty care in all of our VA clinics that are out in the communities. And I don't know that we have any immediate plans. Part of what we were looking at doing was assessing the need with the different locations and working with our partners in Ann Arbor who help us with strategic planning to determine based off of referral patterns and types of services that are needed and which VA clinic we should be putting those in. So I don't have, there are no immediate plans to initiate something today, but that will be part of our continued tactical plan for fiscal year 25.
All right. Thanks, Michelle. And I know a question came in the queue from online about the events on the website, so we'll take a look at that. I know we had a technical issue on Friday with some of the events loading. I know our web person was working on that to get that resolved, so we'll take a look at that because they were having trouble loading some of those. So we'll take a look at that, see if that was resolved today, and get those if they're not already reloaded. So I apologize if a couple of those didn't load, but they were trying to load those today. All right. All right. Next question comes from Reginald. Go ahead, Reginald, with your question.
Yeah, the question that I had this morning is about the BHIP program, the Behavioral Health Interdisciplinary Program. Where is it going in Battle Creek? And also, involving that question is for staff, is there are we concerned about our staff as far as them not being overwhelmed with so much work where they're getting burnt out? And then the other part is for the veterans, with all this information going from primary to nurses to psychiatrists? Where's the confidentiality for the veterans?
For the, say that again, which program?
The behavioral health interdisciplinary program. It's been around a while. I mean, it's at other VA facilities. I think it's really, like in Cleveland and Lewis Stokes, I think they use it quite a bit and everything, but I'm trying to see where we're going here in Battle Creek.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your question.
You're welcome.
I don't know if Maria, I know Dr. Shaw isn't on the call today, but we do have plans for expansion in our BHIP program. I don't know, Maria, if you have any specific information about our BHIP or Behavioral Health Integrative Program.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. So VHIP is a big change for mental health services that are being provided, and we are working to meet that staffing model. So we are actively looking at staffing levels, to your point, sir, to ensure that we are reducing or eliminating burnout for staff that are working in that BHIP model. So thank you for your concern related to that, and we want to make sure that we're supporting both the veterans, of course, and the staff with those needs in the implementation of that program. As far as the confidentiality issue, we do encourage you, if you have concerns related to confidentiality of personal health information, to reach out to the privacy officer for the facility. We are here in the VA bound both by HIPAA, like those providers in the private sector, but also by the Privacy Act. And so we definitely take privacy very seriously. And if you have concerns related to confidentiality, we encourage you to reach out to the privacy officer to discuss those concerns.
Thanks for your question. Next question comes from Edward. Go ahead, Edward, with your question.
Yes, I just didn't recall if the specific date for the 100th anniversary activities was announced and the time, and whether or not participation would be possible partially, or it would be required like in its entirety.
Yep, so the date is October 15th for the 100th anniversary, and the ceremony itself will be at 1 p.m. There'll be other activities happening throughout the day, including the ceremony will be from 1 to 2 p.m. approximately. There'll be some other activities, including a resource fair that will happen starting at noon, and then also some events following the ceremony. The ceremony will be streamed to Facebook, so you'll be able to watch that virtually at 1 p.m. So that will be covered virtually. That will be covered virtually through our Facebook page. But the other events will be mainly on campus. Some of them will start at noon. We will actually, in the morning hours, have some hot air balloons at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So there will be a variety of events happening throughout the day on October 15th, actually. So does that answer your question?
So the festivities will actually begin at 8 a.m.?
Yep, there'll be some events happening in the morning, and then most of them are in the afternoons, starting at noon to about 3:30.
Yeah, that answers the question on the 15th.
All right. Thank you. Next question comes from Daryl. Go ahead, Daryl, with your question.
I was wondering about the expansion projects you were talking about going on in Grand Rapids, the locations of where all those expansions were going to take place. And if you were going to further expand north, like in Big Rapids or Newaygo County.
Okay. Thanks for your question. We're looking at, I think Doug was talking about looking at, further expansions, adding more specialties in the Wyoming clinic. We do have the Northern Rural traveling team that travels in through the northern rural counties as Maria has talked about. We do look at where veterans live on a regular basis to decide where the best locations for outpatient clinics are, and that really determines where placements of outpatient clinics, where it's feasible to place an outpatient clinic. So I don't think there's any plans to. We looked at Howard City is where we're currently looking as a possible location.
Well, that's at least further north.
Yes. So there are plans to look, and we continue to evaluate as we placement, based on where the veterans live.
I mean, I live in Winnebago County, and I'm pretty sure, I'm aware of the volume of veterans in the location. So I was just kind of curious about the help that we're going to get up here as far as all those things take place. Because, the traveling stuff isn't that great.
No, we definitely understand. So we continue to evaluate that based on, locations and where veterans live, and we understand, the travel as well. Thanks for your question.
I appreciate it.
Next question comes from Mike. Go ahead with your question, Mike.
Yes, I was curious. I think I heard the figure $675 million for your total budget.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering what % of that is going toward patient care, and what % would be going toward infrastructure and building renovations?
Thanks for your question. I think
Brian, this is Doug. I'm on. I can try to answer that.
Thanks, Doug.
Yes, sir. This is Doug Dusenberry, the Associate Director here, and thank you for the question. About half of our budget goes to it really goes to staffing, and operational needs, and I would say probably 30 to 35% of that goes into patient care. Our budget right now is not as robust as we need for infrastructure. VA is aware of that at a higher level, and they're working with Office of Management and Budget and Congress to try to get the medical centers what they need for construction. We have unique challenges here at Battle Creek, but we're definitely not alone, across the nation in terms of VA. There are a lot of older campuses and campuses that are in need of either upgrade or replacement. But I would say really the split is probably about 35 or 40% goes for patient care. I think this year we're looking at about $240 million that went out into community care. It's really hard at this point to know the final amount, but anywhere between 225 and 240 just in community care for patient care. So hopefully that answered your question, sir.
Well, yeah, that's pretty good. Is payroll included in that $675 million?
Yeah, like I said, anywhere between 45% of that or so, goes into, payroll and benefits for the, slightly under 2,000 employees that we employ here within Battle Creek.
Okay, and then you said around 50% is for infrastructure and upgrades and that.
No, probably 10 or 15 total of our budget. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next question comes from Hank. Go ahead, Hank, with your question.
Yeah, mine more was a comment. I've been in the system about 20 years. I'm a Vietnam vet. I've had cancer. I've had prostate surgeries. I've had all kinds of treatment. And I just wanted to say that at least in the last 8 years, the medical treatment we're getting is outstanding. And you guys need to hear that. I don't know if you hear it very often, but I can tell you in the last 8 years, it's really, really improved. But I have never had bad service. My cancer surgery in Dallas, that was outstanding. I've just never had bad service, and I really, really appreciate the care that I get. And I also would like to say that this care that we can get treatment in our local area here, instead of, like, for example, going to Battle Creek, I can get surgeries and cancer treatments here in Benton Harbor, St. Joe, and it really is good as we're getting older and it's harder for us to drive on freeways and stuff. So I just wanted to really give the VA an attaboy for, at least in my case, in my family's case, how you guys are treating us. And I really appreciate you guys and everybody that is involved in the treatment of us vets. We really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks for your comments. Next question comes from Linda. Go ahead, Linda, with your question.
I just wondered if there's any plans to expand women's services at the Wyoming VA.
All right, thanks for your question. Yep. I know we've been adding a lot of programs this year for women veterans. Maria, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, so depending on kind of what expansion we're talking about, we do have a part-time GYN that is providing services for the healthcare delivery system. And so there are some potential increased procedures that we'll be able to provide in the future with some new equipment that's coming in. There's also a large women's health program, as Brian mentioned, and if you have any particular services that you are interested in or would like to see at the Wyoming clinic or another site of care, I encourage you to reach out directly to our women's health program manager. Her name is Heather Morgan, and her information can be found on the homepage as well. So she's a wealth of knowledge and definitely looking forward to help us best meet the needs of the women veterans that we serve. And so if you have any feedback for her, I know she'd love to hear that.
And we also do regular women focus groups, so we will pass your information on to them as well.
Yeah, and this is Michelle, I'll just add one of our fiscal year 25 strategic plans is to implement at least one new women's health offering, not necessarily at Wyoming, but where it needs to be offered within our system, and to really develop a comprehensive 5-year strategic plan for women's health, the women's health program. So it is on our radar, and we are actively looking at that and developing that long-term plan to make sure that we're, again, providing the right services at the right time, at the right place for our women veterans.
All right. Thanks, Michelle. Next question comes from Stephen. Go ahead, Stephen, with your question.
Hello?
Hi, Stephen. Go ahead with your question.
Well, my one question pertained to oral surgery, because I wasn't in a war. I was in Cold War, so they won't do anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a number, 269-965.
We don't have a number on here, Stephen. Is that your question pertaining to dental?
Yeah, well, I was just going to give you a number to a doctor that will accept veterans on an outside source.
Yeah, we can't share that.
And they'll do it for nothing.
Okay, thanks for your question.
The question was, how come the VA won't do it?
Okay, I can explain that. Thanks. Yeah, dental services are set by Congress and law, so only certain veterans are eligible for dental services according to the law. So, in order to change that, there would have to be new laws passed by Congress. So that is set in law. So we have to follow the law through the VA. And it's not something that we have control over as VA employees. That's something that we have to follow according to the laws that are passed. And there are certain dental providers that provide services to veterans, and that is great, but we cannot guarantee those services either. So if you find some dental providers out there that will provide services to veterans, we could certainly seek those out, and that is great. But yet, within the VA, we have to follow the laws that exist out there, and if you want to talk to your representatives or senators out there about changing those laws, and once those are changed, then we could follow different laws once they're passed. But until those laws change, we have to follow the laws that exist out there as they exist now. So
the printer name?
Yeah.
It should be.
I know.
Yes, I do. I was like, I think it's on your computer. Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought that you have your own, but just in case.
Yeah, no, I have that. Yeah, I have that.
Open mic, so someone could check
their
mic.
Yeah, this one's just a scanner. It's not a printer.
Do you still have to scan things?
So that's, as the laws exist right now, and there's a couple questions from other veterans about dental, we have to follow that as they exist right now. All right. Next question comes from Don. Go ahead, Don, with your question.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Don. Audio check. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hey, good morning. I'd like to echo what the gentleman from Benton Harbor said earlier. Generally, my experience at the VA has been very well, so thank you, Ms. Martin and your staff. My question is for I believe his name was Doug. He was an engineer speaking earlier about the facilities projects that you're doing. And my question is really, as he's doing those projects and he's integrating with like the building control systems, is he keeping cybersecurity in mind, to protect patient information, make sure no one can backdoor into the HIPAA systems?
Yeah. So Doug's our associate director, and we have a number of IT projects going on, which are separate, I think, from things that Doug have talked about, but we do have a number of IT things going on. So I don't know, Doug, if you want to speak to that as well, but thanks for your question.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So, as each project goes through the planning phase, there are different elements that are required to really weigh in on that, and one is biomedical engineering and the other is IT. And we involve our information security officer and privacy in these projects to do assessments and evaluations for cybersecurity, and that is really at the forefront of any kind of planning. And we work very closely with IT, with the ISO, not just in terms of responding to cybersecurity, but also planning for the future and what's needed. And that IT infrastructure project, it's about a $52 million price tag on that. That will greatly improve, already what, we have some pretty big rigorous standards in place, but that's going to provide us some improved capabilities as well. But short answer to the question, yes, all of those separate entities are involved in all of the construction projects and various upgrades and so forth.
Thanks, Doug.
Give me a minute. Let me get off of this.
From Lee. Go ahead, Lee.
Hey, good morning. First off, I want to echo what's been previously said. I love every one of the doctors, technicians, and nurses that I come in contact with at the VA. You guys are all awesome. I do have an issue with the support, like My Healthy Vet. In My Healthy Vet, if I'm going to try to manage my medications, they always come in groups of 3. And I get them from 2 different locations, Battle Creek and Ann Arbor. So when the medications run out, then I'm forced to call either one of those locations to try to get them refilled. It seems to me if a doctor would prescribe a medication, it ought to just be on prescription or on there permanently until he or she decides that I need to be off of it, instead of making me call a technician and making them call the doctor. It just seems like redundant work for the same result. The second thing I'd like to just talk about very briefly is just the actual My Healthy Vet. I get on the Amazon. I get on to every kind of other website. I do everything, a lot of things online. Everything's easy to get into, except My Healthy Vet. It is a difficult process, and I can only imagine what it's like for somebody who's not computer literate to actually get on there and stumble through that whole process. I thank everybody who supports me, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments. Appreciate it. Next question comes from Carl. Carl, go ahead with your question.
Hi there. I have been out recently, founded my own business, and it's called One Day Industries. I'm trying to find out, is there certain procedures that I have to follow to be able to sit and provide housing for veterans so that they can build their own home in the area and provide for them in appropriate ways? My application for my nonprofit status is going through slowly, and I have a website already up. But is there a process I need to go through with you folks besides having to go through healthcare for homeless vets?
You're kind of breaking up there, but I will have to have somebody follow up with you because I don't know the technical process on that, but I will have somebody get back with you on that.
I'm sorry I have such a bad connection. Is this better?
That's a little bit better. Yeah, I don't know the full process on that, but I will have somebody follow up with you after the call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I come to the Battle Creek facility and share going to the Ann Arbor facility. I just wanted to find out if there was anything different from what I have found out.
Sure.
I love being able to help vets, so that's
awesome.
why.
Yeah, we appreciate that for sure. Yep, I will get somebody to follow up with you. Probably know better than I do on that. So.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Have a great day.
Yep.
Next question comes from Judson. Go ahead, Judson, with your question.
Hey, thank you. My question involves Agent Orange.
Mm-hmm.
The compensation timeliness for decision. I recognize none of you can really do anything about it. I'm just bringing it up.
Sure.
And there's another piece that I do have a question on, and that is if you fill out the paperwork, you meet with the VA doctors, they do various exams, and they have, that kind of concrete information. However, there's a section in the paperwork that you fill out on physical activity, and my question really is, how is it evaluated, and is it rewarded, or do they just only deal with the drugs you're taking and how bad off you are versus what are you doing to offset it? That's it.
So I think, are you talking about the disability exam through VBA?
I'm talking about the disability exam that you take in filling out the paperwork on Agent Orange.
Yeah, that's through VBA. So that comes through Veterans Benefits Administration, not Veterans Health Administration. So that once that's done, that goes through the claims process through VBA.
I understand that. What I'm just trying to say is, right now, the timeliness of the process
right
is a question. And my second question is, I guess I'm in a do loop that I can't get an answer. And my question is, they ask questions and they have a doctor who can see if you're obese or you're not and what the benefits are versus having to just take more drugs. And is there anything that actually, why is the question there if no one can explain? And I guess it's outside your realm,
Right.
and that's the same answer I get with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can send your question to somebody on the VBA side.
That'd be great.
Yep.
That'd be great. And I'm just, again, making my local people aware that they're probably overwhelmed, and I understand that, but the timeliness for decisions is nowhere near what they say it would be.
Yeah, thanks for that. And this is Michelle. I'll just chime in a little. So we appreciate the feedback, and we'll certainly work with our partners in VBA to make sure they have your information. We do know that with the historic PACT Act legislation, I think there's been some slowdown because of increase in claim benefits, but we'll make sure we get you connected to the right folks.
Thank you.
All right, we are coming to the top of the hour, and we do have some questions that are left, and we will get those to the appropriate people through our patient advocates and their team, and we'll appreciate everybody joining us today. Michelle, do you have any final comments?
Yeah, just want to, again, convey my gratefulness. Thank you for attending and joining this afternoon and asking the questions that you had. If you have questions, others have similar questions. We do these town halls quarterly, and if there's specific information that you'd like shared, please reach out to Brian and his staff and let them know. We're happy to present on any information that is pertinent or relevant that you'd like to hear about. I hope you have a wonderful fall as we're moving into the fall session, and we will see you again in just a few short months.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining today. We appreciate your time, and thank you for joining.